7:30 Mountain Time, Lakewood, Colorado, getting ready for Jefferson County Conference Lacrosse. It's the regular season finale for both of these squads. It'll be the Columbine Rebels against the Wheat Ridge Farmers as we get ready here to begin action.
After playing the game for many years, and I decided I could either watch from the couch or get on the field and become part of the game.
I became a judge because it was a natural transition from being a gymnast to coach, now judge.
I love the large crowds, the excitement of the game, and you know what? I got the best seat in the house.
Help these kids, help this community, become an official.
Trailblazer Rebel Lax series continues here on the back end of the regular season. Two Jefferson County rivals getting ready to start. You can see on the face-off X, we're about to commence some 5A lacrosse play here in the Rocky Mountain State. It is the HeadStrong Foundation game, supported by both of these squads. And tonight we feature the Columbine Rebels, the number 2 team in the state of Colorado, and the Wheat Ridge Farmers. And we have just begun play as you hear a stoppage in play coming from the whistle of the officiating crew. Marty Cesario along with Peter Garcia with the visuals, Phil Mildren, and the rest of the staff for Stream It Sports. Very proud to bring you this lacrosse action here in Lakewood, supported in part by Pan Am International Flight Academy and Clovis Point Capital. Again, with the splash of lime across your screens throughout the evening, a special event, the annual HeadStrong Foundation game between these two rivals from Columbine High School and Wheat Ridge High. Columbine ranked number 2 in the CHASA rankings. That's pumped out by the Colorado High School Activities Association. RPI at number 3, and this is the final weekend of regular season lacrosse, so there are a lot of things that are going to be happening in the next 3 days, which will culminate on a Sunday afternoon release of the 5A lacrosse playoff brackets. Wheat Ridge, not rated, 25 in the RPI. This will be their final game of the season under their first-year head coach Darren Denton. Took over the program after so many years where Chris Knott was the lead man. You see that shot coming off of the stick of Andy Stash and wide. Wheat Ridge 5-9 overall, 4-2 in conference. And again, this will be their last game. Classic trap game, as head coach Henry Sulzbacher would describe it. You watch enough sports, intuition says this should be a comfortable win for the Columbine Rebels, considering the resumes for each of these squads. But all these kids know each other, and you have to respect Wheat Ridge. Another great quote, as I said, yeah, you know what? Wheat Ridge has a state championship on their resume as a program in 2013. And Henry goes, yeah, that's one more than we have. I'm like, that is a fact. So much respect between these two programs. Set you up visually in the special HeadStrong lime green swag out there. Green tops. Those are the Columbine Rebels. See a missed exchange, center cutter, ball down, but a ground ball pickup very nicely on the part of Andy Stash. So wearing the lime green jerseys, those are the Columbine Rebels. Boy, what a nice save by Wheat Ridge and Jack Bozick. Wheat Ridge wearing the predominantly white jerseys and the blue shorts. The splash of lime as you look at the replay, nicely done by the junior goaltender, Jack Bozick. So generally speaking, white Wheat Ridge, lime Columbine. As you see that shot go through, and that'll be a score on the board, drawing first blood. Those are the Columbine Rebels. It'll be Nick Darrow with the score at 9:06 in the first quarter. We'll call that unassisted. Wearing the 43 jersey in lime as you see the replay. Crank, right hand release from the shoulder. Nick Darrow his first, the game's first, and a 1-0 lead for the Columbine Rebels. And eventually, the ground ball will be secured by Columbine and Mitch Tiedemann. Seen a few more ground balls hit the turf than expected so early on with guys of this caliber. And coming out with it nicely, Carson Capps defensively to the goaltender and a clear across midline. So Wheat Ridge will try to establish their first lengthy possession of this first quarter. We're just underway. 3.5 minutes in. Nick Darrow has scored for the Columbine Rebels, 1-0 lead for the number 2 team in the state. Again, we're live from Lakewood, Colorado, Trailblazers Stadium. Jeffco rivals. Yes, I understand they're not in the same conference, but these are Jefferson County kids and Jeffco programs who know each other well, getting after each other on a beautiful night. And a nice save by Mr. Gavin Beelman, senior captain, with the snag out of the air, trying to clear. Here comes Columbine. Braden Hogan working on his own. Hollins thinks about it. He'll retreat, reset for the offense, and change some middies and attacking personnel for the Columbine Rebels. Henry Sulzbacher's squad is 12-2 on the year. Finished 7-0 in the Jeffco Conference. They are league champions. As Darrow battles, gets the GB, keeps that possession alive for the Rebels. Boy, that's good defense by Wheat Ridge. And eventually a ground ball picked up nicely by the part of Kevin McCoy, the senior captain. And then some contact. Ball down, human down. Nice kick on the part of Carson Capps. And Josh Yago, lead point totaler for Wheat Ridge, has it on the near wing. Farmers take a shot, and that's good defense on the part of Andy Stash, getting in the way of the release. Eventually got to Beelman in the cage, but no threat to Gavin Beelman. Still a 1-0 lead, under 6.5 to play, first quarter. Columbine up by 1 after the Nick Darrow goal at 9:06 in this opening period. Glad to have you here on Stream It Sports. Beautiful night. We had another May snowstorm winter mix come through all day yesterday. The adjacent field around the turf, the synthetic turf, a little soggy. The boys have been beautiful all day long. Nothing but sunshine and clear skies. And that is a gorgeous stick and a goal on the part of the senior D-mid, Andy Stash. So another goal on the board by number 10, who's coming right there in the middle of your screen. Andy Stash, who has been active. We've called his name out more than once. And able to get one through on that far side, upper corner. Stash at 5:51 in the first quarter. And a 2-goal lead now established by the Columbine Rebels. So Columbine looking pretty sharp. Essentially, Columbine's played 3 consecutive nights. On a Thursday night with bad weather and a lot of moisture and a little bit of lightning, had some issues playing at Lou Kellogg Stadium on the campus of Regis Jesuit High School. They postponed the game to the next day, had to push it back another half hour, eventually finished up that game, which was an 8-4 victory by the number 1 team in the state of Colorado. There's a shot and a score by Columbine, Leo Grossman, the junior mid, with his 8th goal of the season. Couple of goals about 30 seconds apart from each other, and now Columbine has a 3-0 lead. There's Leo. Left his defender and then found his spot stick side. A A late react by the goaltender, way late for Leo Grossman, who gets a goal for Columbine. So Leo in his last regular season game, and pardon me, he's a junior, so I'm misspeaking. But Leo, that great story where he's missed both his freshman and sophomore years with the knee injuries, rehabbed himself to be able to be a part of this 2018 season, just scored for the Columbine Rebels at 5:13 in the first quarter. Rebels looking strong after taking a loss to number 1 last night. And that'll walk me into a note that I can add right now. Columbine has not allowed a single goal. The defense is a huge part of the story of the 2018 season. Against Regis, the number 1 team in the state, they allowed 8, took the loss. They are the only team in Colorado who has held Regis to single digits in scoring. One other team has gone double digits on Regis, and that is Torrey Pines out of California, and they're 15-1. Darrow shoots, deflected by one of the long poles. Columbine maintaining possession. Tanner Hollins bouncing around back to the X spot. So the Rebels go home and then reverse it back this way to Patrick Stottlemyre. Stottlemyre tries to squeeze one through low between the legs, and that's a nice reaction by the goaltender, Jack Bozick. Here come the Rebels. Looking for that dodge curl. There it is, and a shot and a score for Nate Surd. So Nate Surd starting in the attack position this evening because they are missing their future D1 and Gabe Mean, who is not participating this evening. Surd has scored 4-0 lead for Columbine. Four goals on the board, 3 consecutive with the Rebels going high. You just saw the replay of Nate Surd scoring. And there is Andy Stash, the second goal, squeezing one through, but again up high. And that is the trend as we look in on the Columbine Rebels as they discuss things. Coming into the picture on the left, there he is. That is head coach Henry Sulzbacher. So that's the head coach, Sulzbacher, on the left side of your screen. Gotta like the work of the guys. With 4 goals on the board so far in the first 8.5 minutes. There are a couple of key pieces of personnel missing for Columbine this evening. I just mentioned it. Nate Surd started at the attack. Let's go ahead and look at the starters for the Columbine Rebels. Gabe Mean, who will be playing D1 ball at Utah, is not participating this evening. He is out. So Surd started in the attack position instead of his usual midi position. You see Holland Stottlemyre also on attack. Leinart, the stud, on the face-offs. Tiedman and Harmon, big part of that defense. Jake Hinson, another defender, is missing. Here's the Wheat Ridge starter. Yago is the leading point totaler. Jacob Valdez is the stud face-off specialist. You see Kissel the missile out there for Wheat Ridge. Jack Bozick, the goaltender, number 9, has looked good despite giving up 4 goals. He's been pretty sharp, and here is that battle out on the face-off X. Leinart ends up on the ground. Good forceful effort on the part of number 20, center of your screen, Valdez. And eventually, possession awarded to the Wheat Ridge Farmers. So the Farm is trailing by 4, still early in this contest. We started at 7:30 Mountain Time. We're 13 minutes in of real time. And officially 9 minutes into the contest on clock time. Goals by Darrow, Stash, Grossman, and most recently Nate Surd. 4-0 lead. for the Columbine Rebels. Crowd certainly dialed in. I like to hear that. Moms and dads and supporters of these two schools talking it up. A lot of crossover and familiarity. Players know each other and families likely the same. Starting to look like the best possession for Wheat Ridge so far in the first quarter. And then broadcasters jinx. Errant pass over the top, trying to get it home behind the cage. Beelman will chase it down, and it'll be Columbine coming to clear. Here comes the wheels. Braden Hogan, then he runs into defenders. Hogan wearing his ninja tail out of his helmet. Hey, do what you have. Show some presence, whatever's going to make you pay attention, right? I know it makes me look every time, so good work on the part of the sophomore defensive midi, Braden Hogan. And now Columbine with a 4-0 lead will set up in the attacking zone. Look at how deep Columbine is, and now tried to attack from the point. Great job defensively. A check from behind forces this ground ball, and eventually the Rebels are going to come up with it, though, as Stottlemyre has it. And then they reverse the ball around back up top again. And that's Grossman over to Stash. Each of those young men have goals in the first quarter. We're under a minute and a half to play in the first. And this battle between Jefferson County programs here on Stream It Sports. I'd like to thank the support of On the Pond Airways and International Aviation Training and Services, and of course, Clovis Point Capital. Feel free to tweet at the production crew. That's fun. I'm out of it, so I'll sell them out. At Stream It Sports on the Twitter. If you want to share what you think, or maybe you have inside intel. Say your name, I'll shout you out. Why not? 30 seconds left first quarter, 4-0 lead. Columbine in the lime green jerseys. They have the advantage over Wheat Ridge. The Farmers working with it. Back home. And then around to the near side. Looking for a goal before they take the first quarter break. Here comes one, and that is going to be in. And call that a score for Wheat Ridge. And Cole Kissel, the junior, showing his competitiveness. There's number 30 right there. Cole has scored. One is on the board for the Wheat Ridge Farmers. There's the replay, right down the center slot. Nice adjustment. Bounces it really early, about 8 feet out it looked like, from Gavin Beelman. I'm exaggerating, but it was early. And it caught Beelman off guard, and Wheat Ridge has one on the board. Cole Kissel at the 12-second mark in the first quarter has scored. And that'll be the end of 1 quarter of play. So Wheat Ridge has popped the cork. But Columbine still with a 4-1 lead in Lakewood.
Tonight is like the third year.
There comes a time in every athlete's life when their participation in sports is coming to an end, and so officiating is a way to stay involved.
The day I started officiating is just as fun as now.
When I'm officiating, making decisions, a decision that's instantaneous, for me there's no greater feeling.
I became an official because I wanted to give back.
Get off the couch and get into the game.
Become an official.
Return to Trailblazers Stadium, Lakewood, Colorado, west side in the Denver metropolitan area. Let's look at the resumes for each of these squads, starting with the Columbine Rebels. You see a whole run of W's there. Look at their 2 losses. Those are the, when I'm speaking of Cherry Creek and Regis, those are the 2 finalists from 2017 that were able to get victories over the Columbine Rebels. Let's look at the resume of Wheat Ridge as we just get second quarter started up here. 4-1 lead. We'll get you that Wheat Ridge schedule and the results in a few moments as we have live play beginning once again with Wheat Ridge in possession. And perhaps a little momentum for the Wheat Ridge Farmers. They had the most recent goal, Cole Kissel, scoring with 12 seconds remaining in the first quarter, and now a long possession. And there's a shot coming from the far wing. Kissel releases, Beelman saves, and now the Rebels try to clear. Tiedman coming up, ball to the ground. GB picked up by Carson Capps, nice feed to the inside on the run. Here comes Wheat Ridge and Josh Yago. Chris McCarron out there, he's cradling on the far side. You hear a big round of applause right now. Former Wheat Ridge head coach Chris Knott is out in the stands collecting donations for the HeadStrong Foundation. I think he's doing very well. So good for him having the juice to do good things and get some funding for HeadStrong Foundation. You can check for their website. It is a foundation that supports families affected by the disease. And I'm speaking of cancer. So they specifically try to help out families, not just the victims themselves, but the families who are impacted by cancer. And again, you can search around the Twitter and, of course, the internet. Look up HeadStrong Foundation. And that is a big reason why you see the lime green splashed all over your screen, and you see a score right there from the stick of one of the Wheat Ridge players. That's James Walker, 32, putting one in net. And there's the replay. Over the top, defender coming in late. Quick release on the part of the senior, James Walker, who will be playing next year at Dominican University in California. Well, there's that next level look. And now we'll take a peek at the Wheat Ridge schedule. It's been a challenging year, starting slow. See, that's an aggressive schedule. A lot of big money programs involved there. 5-9 overall is Wheat Ridge. Coming off of a big win over Ralston Valley. Those are a lot of kids who know each other up there in North Jeffco. Two consecutive goals on the part of Wheat Ridge after being down 4-0. They get one from Cole Kissel towards the finish of the first quarter. And now James Walker has just scored at the 9:35 mark in the second. And the Farmers within 2 and with possession of the ball. And another one on the board for the Wheat Ridge Farmers off the stick, Captain Josh Yago. So the big players erupting for the Wheat Ridge Farmers, as you saw that nice tight look at number 4, the sophomore captain, Josh Yago. His father's the offensive coordinator for the Wheat Ridge program, and you get that look once again. Reportedly, Yago already getting the D1 looks as just a sophomore. Well, you saw a good glimpse of what kind of stellar work he can put out there on the field. And 3 consecutive goals for Wheat Ridge. The Farm is within 1. 9:03 mark. Josh Yago scores. Wheat Ridge now down 4-3. Again, this is a no-lose situation for Wheat Ridge. They are 5-9. They will not participate in the 16-team field in the Class 5A playoffs, which will be starting next week. Timeout called with under 9 to play. The timeout will give Chris Knott some more opportunities to get out there and work for the HeadStrong Foundation. He's roaming around the field. As we look in on Wheat Ridge, I know the jerseys are lime green and everything, but Wheat Ridge always looks sharp, even with the regular jerseys. But that is Wheat Ridge Farmers head coach Darren Denton is coming into your screen. There he is, moving from left to right with the hat lifted up a little bit. Yep, talking, getting some love from one of his assistants. Darren Denton, first-year head coach. Has had 2 sons come through the program. Again, speaking of head coach Darren Denton with the white hat and the blue backing. His son Walker, who came through the Wheat Ridge program, currently playing at Nazareth in New York. And then Connor Denton is a junior D-man on the current Wheat Ridge squad. Well, right now, Coach Denton's pretty pleased because his Farmers have scored 3 in a row after yielding 4 goals in the first quarter. And this is a 1-goal game in the first half at Trailblazer in Lakewood, Colorado. We are live on Stream It Sports. Shot wide. Tanner Hollins delivering that attempt. Bozic in the cage, read it well. Rebels nearest, and they will keep possession. So a reset in the attacking zone. Columbine. Grossman on the run. Working alone to Hollins. Center cutter this way, and can't connect with Nick Darrow. And that'll be an unforced error, so a Wheat Ridge possession. Again, only down 1. Kissel, Walker, and Yago have scored 3 consecutive goals for Wheat Ridge. Nice react on the clear over the midline. That pass attempt knocked down nicely by the defense of Braden Hogan. And that's Hogan doing some nice work checking. You can spot Hogan and Tiedman because they are both wearing the Miyagi Samurai kerchiefs hanging out the back of their helmets. That's a good look for D-men. Shot from way up high. And Wheat Ridge is going to keep possession. Davis Holtz, the junior mid, got the go whistle, and you see Wheat Ridge quickly working it around. Meckling working up top with Kissel. And there's Kissel back to Meckling. So we'll see how Wheat Ridge approaches here. Great ball movement on the part of Wheat Ridge. Shot from Kissel, here it comes. Ooh, it's blocked defensively. Way to get in the way. Cody Heston getting a start as a D-man because the Rebels are in fact missing senior Jake Hinson. Of course, we talked about the impact offensively. Gabe Mean, future Utah Ute, is not participating for Columbine this evening. Shot low, and the bounce attempt blocked nicely by Gavin Bielman. About 6 minutes into this second quarter. It's a tight one here. Good to have you here for the Trailblazer Rebel Lac Series. roll dodge to the inside, then contact defensively, man down, and then a whistle blown. And Beelman has it. And Columbine will push to clear. Nice call for it midfield. Will Chislett, the long pole, recognized by Beelman. So that was a quick transition, and now you see personnel coming into the screen. Stash, number 10, Darrow, 43, Columbine. 1-goal lead as Hollins bounces it around, sends it to Stash, and they'll set up, back up top. Boy, that's nice defense stepping in the way. Zach Miller, sophomore long stick. He's kind of reading the flow of the offense. Stash takes a shot, saved by Bozic. Get the feel with recent work, both of the goaltenders officially dialed in now. 4-3 game, second quarter. Number 2 team in the state, the Columbine Rebels. They've got to challenge the rest of the day. Back check, nicely done defensively by Caleb Coyne, and here comes Coyne, takes a shot, saved by Beelman. Crowd reacts. The lax is fun. Wheat Ridge keeps possession. They're one clean shot away from tying this game up in the first half against a team that should clearly be the favorite. Playoff seedings will be announced Sunday afternoon. Columbine will be a 2 or 3 seed, as you see that good long pull defense on the part of Andreas Lucero. Lucero runs into his own man, same, and eventually over to Beelman. Robbie Stash working with it, bounce pass, Beelman. Back far side, and that'll be much easier for Columbine to clear. Broadcaster's jinx, number 2. My bad. Hush, Marty. About 3.5 left, second quarter. 1-goal game. The Farm has the ball again in the offensive zone. Yago working behind the cage. He already has 1 goal in the game. That was good long pull D by Peyton Winters on Josh Yago. The Rebels are going to have it. Stash over the top. He finds Brock Harmon. We'll see what Columbine can do on this possession. Rebels with a 1-goal lead.
Go, kid.
12-2 Columbine being challenged here in this first half by Wheat Ridge. Darrow has a goal. Thought he was going to approach doorstep, turns and fires, and that's wide. From the top, and a save by Bozic. Ball's alive, shot and saved by Bozic. Jack's feeling it too. He's talking to his defense, just made 2 saves. Here comes one, and the bounce attempt is wide. Get back in your crease, Jack. Columbine's going to keep it. Full 70-second possession here by the Rebels. Can they convert that time spent with a goal? Retreating is Grossman. Now advancing. Where's the cutter? Over here. Hollins does pick it up. You can sense the anxiety out there. Darrow shot. And another save for Bozic, and then off the back of the net. And defenders find it. Ground ball picked up by Connor Denton. And here comes Wheat Ridge. Ball popped loose. Watch the trailers. Chaos, scrum. Friends saying hello. I know you. I know you too. Whistle blown. Will this be a penalty violation? The answer is yes. For the first time in the game, we're going to have a young man take a knee. And I believe Columbine's going to be in a man-up situation. Yes. So man up, I believe, for 60. Rebels with their 1-goal lead. Several of the assistants, some called Dad, barking out orders for Columbine in this man-up situation. Problems there, but picked up, so no harm. Then an errant exchange comes out of bounds. 1:07 on the clock and your score bug on the screen. In the final 67 seconds of the first half here at Trailblazer Stadium in Lakewood, Colorado. Number 2 team in the state being challenged by their Jeffco rivals. Wheat Ridge in a 1-goal game. And now timeout. So we've lost our flow and rhythm. And one of the head coaches decides, you know what, let's take a break and draw this thing out. We know this, Columbine has a 1-goal lead. They will be man up for a short time, and then we will finish up this first half. Again, thanks to supporting sponsors, Pan Am International Flight Academy and Clovis Point Capital. It's the annual HeadStrong Foundation game between Wheat Ridge and Columbine. Right now, the Rebels with that 1-goal lead. Henry Sulzbacher just to the left, wearing the dark blue tech top, talking it out with his guys. It works for all of us. Very entertaining first half. The negative trolls saying Columbine's going to blast him out. We're going to walk through this thing, right? It's going to be easy. Yeah, then you don't know anything, do you? You don't know history. Go back to those conversations with Sulzbacher, pointing out, you know, Wheat Ridge has a state championship, Columbine, not so much. And then it was Henry who pointed out, yeah, last year they beat us, just remember that too, and that was on Stream at Sports. So it's what you might expect, regardless of records. And then you can qualify with some of the other notes and nuggets. Columbine is missing 2 starters in this game. Columbine just had to play 1 game in 2 days with a whole lot of delays, and eventually lost to the number 1 team in the state. Here come the Rebels, still man up, and they're going to work it around. Hollins looking for Cutter. It'll be far wing, shot, and that's past Bozick. I don't believe Jack Bozick got a stick on it, nor was it much of a threat to him. Columbine's going to keep possession, 50 seconds left. Rebels looking for a little more space. And still having some problems with some of those high exchanges. That's the second time we've seen that pass to the near wing up high go out of bounds. Still man up, Columbine, 32 seconds left. There's the shot and the score. Tanner Hollins from the far wing with the lefty release. Patience pays off for the Rebels. Fist bumps all around for 2-2. Tanner Hollins The tailback slash attackman gets one through in a man-up situation and adds a little cushion to a very slim lead for the Columbine Rebels. 25-second mark, second quarter. Tanner Holland scores his first. Now a 5-3 lead for the Rebels. There's that good look. Leinhart in the green for the Rebels against Valdez for Wheat Ridge. Nobody wins it yet. And eventually, Farmers come out with possession and a whistle blown. That's a timeout called by Coach Denton and Wheat Ridge. They're going to try to work for one final shot before we get to the halftime intermission. By the way, along with being a Headstrong night for both these squads, it is senior night for the Wheat Ridge program as we get a nice tight look at head coach Darren Denton, who's an assistant for 6 years under head coach Chris Knott and has now taken over the program. Game face, huh, Coach? Feeling it. A little exchange with his face-off specialists, Valdez, and get a nice look at those pretty jerseys and shorts, and of course the Wheat Ridge helmets. And now they'll break. 2 seconds added back to the official score bug. So now we're at 10 seconds left on a final possession for Wheat Ridge. Looking to stuff one in quickly to counter what we just saw with Tanner Holland scoring man up for Columbine to create the 2-goal lead for the Rebels. Tough angle, got the shot off, looked good, but Josh Yago, a little too far to the right side, hits Twine, but on the wrong side of the pole there, and that's how we're going to finish up the first half. Good ball game. But Holland scores man up with under 30 to play, and the Rebels have a 2-goal lead heading into the halftime break.
Can we get all the Wheat Ridge senior parents down on the field, please? Don't eyeball me unless you gave money to Headstrong.
So I was in a farmer.
Hey, Coach Denton. Coach Denton. Yeah. Coach Denton. Wave at me when you're ready to go.
Not!
I wasn't playing. So I wasn't playing, but we went out Sunday. We went out Sunday night after, and it was like spring. We went out Sunday after the game, and we were. Give me 1 minute. We're trying to turn the mic. These guys are coming away. You better turn them down. And so after the bar, excuse me, we went right around the like a case of beer. Yeah. And we couldn't get anything else. So we go to the fire escape. And I was climbing up. I got. Can you hear me now? And I fell through. Nothing? Anything? No, that was just from like no, I was. We got nothing. Have you know that? Look, it's like 12 feet up, and I landed head first on the pavement on my head. Are we good yet? Is that better? All right.
Well, you are.
So guys, welcome to tonight's Headstrong game between Columbine and Wheat Ridge. Tonight Wheat Ridge is going to celebrate senior night, and we're going to start off with Colby Bolio, Mom Terry, and Dad Kurt. Colby's going to attend the University of San Diego. Colby's best lacrosse moment is all of Pat O'Connor's jokes, Coach Pat's jokes. Next up, there we go. Next up, we got Jacob Hahn, escorted by Mom Jennifer, Dad Keith, and stepmother Cindy. Jacob plans on majoring in computer engineering at CSU. Jacob's funniest moment from lacrosse when Valdez got sniped in the privates by JY. Next up, we got Sam Hayes, escorted by Mom Kim and sister Ashley. Sam is attending Regis University and studying sports medicine. When asked who inspires him, Sam responded, "My mom." Next up, we got Kevin McCoy, escorted by Lisa and Scott. Kevin is enlisted in the Army as a Blackhawk mechanic. And Kevin's funniest moment from lacrosse when Kellen hit Coach Knott in the privates with a pass from across the field. Great memory, Kevin. Thank you. Next up, we got Cody Meckling, escorted by Mom Terry and Father Dave. Cody will be attending Montana State University and doing plenty of skiing and dirt biking. Cody's funniest memories from lacrosse, Coach Darren's driving and parking abilities in California, or lack thereof, I'm assuming. Next up, we got Kellen Ritchie, escorted by Matt and Michelle. Kellen will be attending Colorado Mesa University and playing lacrosse. Kellen's funniest moment from lacrosse, the moment I hit Coach Knott in the privates, the first day back from spring break my sophomore year. Next up, we have Jordan Siemens, escorted by Mom Amanda and stepdad Mike. Jordan will be majoring in computer science at CSU. And Jordan's funniest moment from lacrosse when we almost got to name Coach Josh's baby and all of Pat's after practice jokes. Next, we have Jacob Valdez, escorted by Tom and Emily. Jacob will be studying construction management, and Jacob's funniest moment from lacrosse, Kellen hitting Coach Knott in the privates. It wasn't that funny, guys. Last but not least, we got to go with James and the Giant Peach Walker, and I got to throw it in there. Escorted by Julie and David. James plans on playing lacrosse and studying to become a PA at Dominican University. James' funniest moment from lacrosse when Zach Miller fell asleep in between the seats on the way back from a game in California. My hat's off to you seniors. Proud of you guys.
Third quarter underway. Trailblazer Stadium, Lakewood, Colorado. Big battle, which Dylan Leinhart, who has done that so many times this year, wins that battle and brings it up. A 2-goal lead for the Columbine Rebels, the number 2 team in the state in Classification 5A. They've walked themselves into a challenge, which isn't a huge surprise, against Jeffco rival program Wheat Ridge on a Headstrong night. Retired head coach Chris Knott's been walking around the facility collecting donations for Headstrong Foundation, which supports the families impacted by cancer. As you see that shot from Nick Darrow getting through to solve the goaltender. That's 2 goals recorded by Nick Darrow in this game. So a nice start within the first minute of the second half. Nick Darrow scores at the 11:02 mark in the third quarter. So a strong face-off win on the part of the sophomore Leinhart. There's the replay. Darrow on the run off one leg and gets one through. A 6th goal on the board for Columbine. And now a 3-goal lead for the Rebels. As you see the scrum along the midline. For a moment, ground ball pickup, Rebels. And then Hollins had it, then tripped up, and now 2 flags on the field. This may be a double infraction. One defender called for a trip, And then I believe someone else had something to say and is also being sent to one knee. Well, scoring summary reset after the Nick Darrow goal. 11:02 mark. Darrow, his second of the game. He's the one who got us started way back in the first quarter at the 9:06 mark. 6-3 lead, and now Columbine has the numbers in their favor. And we'll watch the Rebels. Man up, right to the middle, and that's a score right to the interior. Good center cut, and then eventually they found Taylor Gustafson, the junior attack, gets it through. So a couple of quick goals to start off this third quarter as you look at the replay. It comes from Darrow. Over the top, Gustafson. Right at the 8. Good hard lefty release, goes low. After we saw so many times in that first half, 4 goals consecutively going high, top shelf on the goaltender Bozic. Well, low this time. And look at how quickly Columbine transitions, and they find Tanner Hollins on the doorstep. So Tanner Hollins now has 2 goals in this game.
Scored by number 20, Tanner Hollins.
Things opening up for the Rebels as you look at the replay. That's just pretty lacrosse right there. Across the crease, nobody there for Hollins. Quick sticks it right through into the twine. So just like that, 3 goals in the first 2 minutes to open up the second half. Darrow, Gustafson, most recently Hollins, and a 5-goal advantage for the Columbine Rebels. This broadcast supported by International Aviation Training and Services, trained to fly with the majors. It's located in Denver in the Stapleton neighborhood. Phil Mildren, Peter Garcia, and their crew providing the technicalities and the beautiful visuals here on Stream It Sports, high definition, around the globe. Digital television here, glad to have you. Honored to be here on this regular season finale for both of these programs. Columbine scored the first 4 goals of this game, and then 3 consecutive for Wheat Ridge. We had a tight one in the final, say, 8 minutes of that second quarter. And then Tanner Hollins scored to make it a 2-goal advantage for Columbine going into the halftime break. And then we've seen 3 goals scored in a row in a 2-minute surge for the Rebels to get things going. Visual setup, in case you're just joining us, that's Columbine wearing the clearly lime green jerseys and the white bottoms. Wheat Ridge wearing the white tops splashed in lime green, and then they have their blue shorts trimmed along the hips in the lime green. And of course that lime is the look for the HeadStrong Foundation, supporting victims and their families impacted by cancer. Trailblazer Stadium, Lakewood, Colorado, 8:29 Mountain Time. We are live on the west side of the Denver metropolitan area, where it's just better, and we all know it. Hashtag Jeffco. I wouldn't say it if I couldn't bring it, and I can prove it. Let's spin the camera around and get a good shot of what's behind us. The Hogbacks all up the foothills. And we're about 24 hours or less after a May snowstorm, which is part of our identity out here, right? It's just who we are. Now it's a beautiful night here in Lakewood. And we've seen some pretty lax from Columbine, the number 2 team in Class 5A in Colorado. They are currently locked in at number 3 in the RPI, but there's still more lacrosse to be played for the rest of this weekend. After Columbine took the loss to Regis 8-4, that's the number 1 team in the state, the Raiders from RJ. Kent Denver had a nice win over Cherry Creek, so Kent Denver leaped ahead of Columbine in the current RPI standings by 2 1/1000ths in that RPI. So saith Master Command in Aurora and their computer computations. So there's some lacrosse to be played before we get to those Sunday afternoon brackets and seedings released for the playoffs. And then we're at this time of year, I talk about it every year. From here, then it's a rapid pace to get to that Mile High Championship game, which will be on the 18th. The playoffs go quickly in Colorado lacrosse. Looking for a cutter to the middle there. Crowd reacts. Well, that's a missed opportunity as Hollins was coming through, number 20. Gustafson with the ground ball pickup. Near side, Nate Surd.
Let's go, kid!
And now that Surd has it, I'm going to correct myself. Nate Surd, wearing the 2-2 tonight, getting a start as an attacker, has 2 goals in this game. And I'll double check, but I think I've been miscalling twice now Tanner Hollins for goals when it's actually 2-2 Nate Surd putting it in net. I'm okay admitting I'm wrong, and we'll go back and we'll double check that to make sure. We are correct where it's a 5-goal spread in favor of the Columbine Rebels. And now Columbine is in a man-up situation here with that 5-goal lead. And you can see the Rebels taking their time with a big advantage after exploding to start the second half with 3 goals. And there's a shot, and it gets through, and that's Nick Darrow. I know that. It's 43 with another goal. And he now has a hat trick in this contest. 43 getting love from his teammates. Somewhere out in India, clap, 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 his family. Very happy. India, Hawaii. We know we have international viewing on these games as you look at the replay. Well, that's just a laser shot placed very well to solve the goaltender. 6:06 mark. Darrow again, his 3rd. Now Columbine up 6. When we talk about the RPI that really has a big impact on the playoff seedings, I don't know enough about the computations, and really I'm not that interested in doing the research to find out. My understanding is I don't think it matters how much Columbine would win by in this game. Certainly they want to get the win. They have no control over who their opponents are. As you see a doorstep shot coming and a goal getting through. Hands in the air by the official. So 1 on the board for Wheat Ridge. And receiving the congratulations from his teammates. That is James Walker with his 2nd goal of the contest.
Goal by Wheat Ridge, James Walker.
So Walker scores his second, 5:32 mark, third quarter. The fourth goal recorded by the Wheat Ridge Farmers. It's sports, it's guys. Nobody wants consolation prizes, but we'll say this. Wheat Ridge on this night has broken the average pace of the defense of Columbine. The Rebels coming in averaging 3.78 goals per game yielded. And Wheat Ridge has 4. Columbine missing one of their starting defenders on this evening. That is senior Jake Hinson, not participating. We've mentioned a couple times Gabe Mean not participating. He has been injured. Darrow working with it right now, cradle, cradle, dodge. He's participated quite often with 3 goals in this game and looks like a man with a plan right now. Good defense. That was Walker challenging Darrow. Kind of get this feeling between a bunch of studs out there, Jeffco kids, there's going to be parting statements by the time this night ends. Saw that good battle between Nick Darrow and James Walker. The gallery mumbling through the crowd mics underneath us. About 4.5 minutes left in the third quarter. Shot wide. That came off the stick of Andy Stash. Not much of a threat for Jack Bozick. And Columbine's going to keep possession. And that's just a great connection. Tanner Hollins calling for it, makes the cut from behind the cage to the far side. One step, look at this replay. Receive, on the run, all in one motion. Gets it through, double digits on the board now for Columbine. Tanner Hollins at the 4:11 mark, third quarter. Back to a 6-goal advantage for the Columbine Rebels. Leinart with the strong win, clears all on his own, all the way up to the goal line. Now you'll see Dillon come off the screen at the bottom there to allow one of the middies to get through, and that'll be Jackson Trail stepping in. There's number 2 right there, Jackson Trail. And the sophomore advances forward. Now we're seeing some different players. Robbie Stash with the release from the left wing on the run, and that's Watt. Hollins will get it, and Columbine will keep it with that 6-goal lead, their largest lead of this contest. The last Friday night of the regular season of Colorado Lacrosse. We'll have to peek around and check some other scores. There were a couple of big games. Number 1 Regis was playing again tonight against Denver South. You expect the Raiders to get the win on that. Mountain Vista taking on Arapahoe. That's a 4v5 that we definitely want to keep an eye on. In Class 4A, number 2 Dawson is playing against Fairview. That's a Boulder County matchup you need to pay attention to. Evergreen Ponderosa, 11 and 13 seeds. Littleton and Conifer, We'll peek around, see if we can get some scores for you. 2.5 minutes left. Crowd reacting to some contact and chaos out along the midline. We've settled into a 6-point lead for Columbine. 6-goal advantage for the Rebels in the lime green jerseys on this HeadStrong Foundation support night at Trailblazer Stadium in Lakewood. We've settled in. Rebels clearly the favorites. Exploded in the second as Andy Stash bumping the defender twice with his backside. And now we have a flag on the field. Will they await the verdict? And we'll see if that's a penalty called against one of these squads, and I believe it's going to be. You can see in the bottom left-hand corner, a young man will take a knee, one of the long pulls, and he will sit for 60. And it's a man-up situation with a 6-goal lead for the Columbine Rebels. Bozic looks behind. Hollins reverses it around, reset back up top. Good jump catch on the part of Hollins. Surd tries to get it through with a left-hand release, and that's wide. Hollins will chase it down. Columbine man up. Ooh, that's heavy impact right to the lid. Off the face mask, I believe, of Kevin McCoy, the senior D-man. And I think he's going to come off. Shows some toughness by Kevin McCoy and high praise for the technology of those who make the helmets. Let's look at the replay. Surd, boom! It is actually the back of the helmet. And a good sportsmanship applause from the gallery and the crowd. That was scary. Crowd likes the effort of the guy in the cage, Bozic. And now we're even strength once again. Man released and a whistle blown just before Chris McCarron can pick it up, and now the go whistle. Interesting note on Chris McCarron, not only a midi and a captain in the Lacs for Wheat Ridge, but also was the third leading receiver in yardage totals in Class 5A football. Add to that note, in front of McCarron in yardage totals, Billy Pospisil, committed to Washington State, Dimitri Stanley, who is signed to play for the Colorado Buffaloes. So 2 Pac-12 guys in front of McCarron, who's clearly a hashtag multi-sport stud. And that's McCarron right there, number 3, cradling. Attacking. Back home. We'll see what Wheat Ridge can do here. Farmers down 6. That's the end of the third. And a round of applause for the efforts. But those guys right there in the lime green jerseys in command after 3 on Stream It Sports. Getting ready for the fourth quarter to begin here in Lakewood, Colorado. Trailblazers Stadium, home of Jeffco Class 5A and 4A lacrosse. This broadcast supported by International Aviation Training and Services. You can train to fly with the majors, located in Denver and the Stapleton neighborhood. Also brought to you by Clovis Point Capital and Pan Am International Flight Academy on a HeadStrong Foundation night. A regular season finale for both programs, and also senior night for the Wheat Ridge program. It's Columbine in the lime green jerseys with the 6-goal advantage as we just start up the final period here on the last night of regular season lax for both of these teams. From here, Wheat Ridge will complete their season. Columbine will await what happens the rest of tonight. As you see that save by Gavin Beelman, the crowd enjoys. But the Rebels will wait for the final scores this evening and tomorrow, and then await for the Sunday seedings and brackets to be announced. We know the Rebels will be a 2 or a 3 seed in the upcoming playoffs. And if you try to decipher what matters between a 2 or a 3, it'd be tough to argue against saying that Regis is the top squad in this state and a clear favorite in the upcoming playoffs. If you get a 2, you stay on the opposite side of Regis in the brackets and won't have to touch them and get near them until the championship. If you get a 3, you would meet them in the semis if things go your way. Save Bozick. Seen some good moments from Jack Bozick. Personnel exchanging, switching things up. I look up, get a quick peek of Tiedemann with his samurai tails flipping behind the helmet. Like to mention those D-men so much with Columbine because that's a huge part of their story, is how well they have played as a defensive unit throughout the course of the 2018 season. They just gave up 8 to Regis, but they're the only team in Colorado to allow less than 10 goals to the top team in the state. Look at the scoring totals for the opponents of Columbine in the 6 games before that. 1-1-2, 1-2, 5. Tough to score on these Rebels. Right now, Wheat Ridge is trying to do so. Even strength, under 10 to play in this game in Lakewood. Wheat Ridge trailing 6, advancing forward. That's good defense there. I believe the long pole, Peyton Winters, got in the way of that release on the near side by Cole Kissel. I don't think that got through to threaten Gavin Beelman. The Farm's going to keep it, chasing it down. It's Kellen Ritchie, another one of those seniors, finishing up his career with the Wheat Ridge lacrosse program. Meanwhile, I try to look around and see if we can get a handle on some scores from around the state. Center cutter shot gets through Beelman. That's just pure power because Beelman had a read on it, and I believe he got his stick on it. But the velocity, able to carry the ball through, and that's a score for the Wheat Ridge Farmers. Here's the replay.
Goal by number 1, Kobe Billman.
And that comes off the stick of number 4, Josh Yago, his second of the game. Yago threw a defender and the goaltender. 8:46 mark, Josh Yago. His second, team's 5th. The Farmers still trailing by 5 in this game. It's been all Rebels in the second half until that point. Yago scoring. They also had another goal by James Walker at the 5:32 mark in the third. Still a lot of work to do for Wheat Ridge if they want to, at minimum, force an overtime session. So the Farmers have possession now in the offensive zone. Walker back home, far side, bouncing around with it. Josh Yago. Over this way, Meckling. Meckling attacks. Absorbs some contact from Tiedemann. Here comes a shot. Oh, and it gets through Gavin Beelman. Another powerful release.
For Wheat Ridge is number 4, Josh Yago. This one by number 32, James Walker.
James Walker has scored his third of the contest. So no fancy stuff on the last 2 goals by the Wheat Ridge Farmers. Yago and then Walker just blasting the heaters at Beelman and getting them through. 7:35 mark, James Walker, his third, team's 6th. And now Wheat Ridge is within 4 as we watch Valdez and Leinhart battle on the face-off X. And that's going to be a win for Leinhart. Good job by the long pole. Adam Graff getting it. And then down to the ground goes Adam.
Columbine is taking a timeout.
And now a timeout called as we've had a little rush of success by Wheat Ridge. Again, this broadcast supported by International Aviation Training and Services. Beautiful night here in Lakewood, Colorado. Final regular season game, both programs. Also the final game in this Trailblazer Rebel Act series. I'm Marty Cesario. Phil Mildren and Peter Garcia, their crew, they're driving the ship. I'm along for the ride. You can hit me on the Twitters if you like. If you want to give a shout or engage with the production crew at Stream It Sports, just like it sounds, at Stream It Sports. And again, there's our primary sponsor for tonight's broadcast, presented by International Aviation Training and Services, where you can learn how to fly with the majors. It's located in the Mile High City in the old Stapleton neighborhood on the north side. Look at the broadcast schedules. There's the recent resume. A whole lot of Rebels. Well, you look back at that first game where Cherry Creek jumped 8-0 all over Columbine. That was a statement made by the Bruins, but also a learning lesson for the Columbine Rebels. And they advanced, and here on these broadcasts, able to get wins over Jeffco rivals Chatfield and Dakota Ridge, and here they are with a 4-goal lead on Wheat Ridge, but some success recently by the Farm. And the Rebels right now, after the timeout, establishing a possession in the offensive zone. We have one final, top team in the state. Easy work against Denver South, final 17-1. So Regis, who had just beaten Columbine last night, 8-4, have finished with just 1 loss on the season. Oh, and a nice putback attempt. Hands in the air, yes! Taylor Gustafson has his 2nd goal of the game. That was a lot of activity on your screen. Somehow it ended up in the mesh of Taylor Gustafson, and he puts it through. Second goal of the night for Gustafson, 6:43 mark. And that halts the mini rush established by Wheat Ridge. There it is. Look at that. So that was a save by Bozick after the shot by Grossman. Bozick couldn't control it, and look at Gustafson doing a great job picking up that ball and quickly stuffing it into the net. Back to a 5-goal advantage for the Columbine Rebels. Columbine looking for their 13th victory of the season. The Rebels' 2 losses suffered to the defending champions, Cherry Creek, and the #1 team in the state, the Regis Raiders.
Timeout on the field. Columbine takes it.
We know Regis has finished the regular season with a victory over Denver South. That game at All City Stadium. Mountain Vista playing Arapahoe, trying to track down that score. That's a big one in 5A. Tomorrow, some impact games in 5A that'll, have something to say within those RPI computations. You got 17 Rocky Mountain on the edge. They are on the bubble as a 17 seed right now. Only 16 get in. They're going to play Denver East tomorrow. Grandview and Monarch, that's an 18 and a 16 according to the current RPI standings. Kent Denver, #2 at Mullen. Columbine will be watching that one. And then Colorado Academy and Chaparral playing. That's an 8 and a 10. So there's a lot of really big lacrosse to be played tonight and then most of the day tomorrow before we get to the Sunday afternoon releases of seedings and brackets. Under 6 to play now in this final frame. Columbine is comfy, up 5. Wheat Ridge pushing forward with possession of the ball. Shot from way up top by Chris McCarron. No threat to Beelman. Wheat Ridge is going to keep it. And reset up top, that's McCarron. McCarron using his speed sends it back to the X. And then they'll reverse it back around. Kissel waiting for that release from Kissel. Boy, that's great defense. And then a double team. Ball down after the good work defensively by Will Chislett, who got help from Peyton Winters. Wheat Ridge looking for the call. That's not going to happen. 5 left, 4th quarter. Low-high release from Yago over the top of the cage. We do have an update from that Arapahoe Mountain Vista score. The Warriors with a lead over the Golden Eagles, 9-8 right now. That's in the 4th quarter.
Dirty laundry, and
try to get a final from that. That's a big one in 5A lacrosse. Vista, the 4 seed in the current RPI standings. Arapahoe, the 5 seed.
Columbine penalty.
So after the
2-minute non-releasable penalty,
repeated attacks by the defenders of Columbine, they get called for it. And it'll be a man-up situation here for Wheat Ridge. So the numbers are right for the Farmers. A slashing call against Columbine has reduced the defense. And boy, that's a great look for Wheat Ridge, and Cole Kissel couldn't get it to pop through. See if they can keep possession. Whistle's blown, will stop. Boy, nice feed to the inside. Doorstep shot created, but the Farmers couldn't get it through, but they will keep it. With about 4 minutes left in this game. Wheat Ridge being patient, man up. Now we have a whistle blown from way in the back. I think that's an equipment issue that was cited by one of the officials. Update from Littleton Public School Stadium as you see the goal scored by Wheat Ridge. Man up. And I apologize trying to give you that update as we track Class 5A lacrosse around the state. Meanwhile, goal scored by Wheat Ridge at the 3:39 mark in the fourth quarter. So over at Littleton Public School Stadium, the LPSS, Arapahoe and Mountain Vista are tied up with about 4 minutes left at 9 goals apiece. As we look at the replay here. Well, that freezes up on us. We apologize for that, but Wheat Ridge has scored. A little surge of momentum for the Farm, and they are pressuring Columbine once again in the offensive zone. It is the final game for Wheat Ridge in the 2018 season. They're going out with a fight. As you see the battle across the way and a reaction, a stick thrown out of bounds across the way. Don't play the MLACs unless you have toughness. .75 seconds left in the game. Columbine has possession. Hollins works with it. One minute to play in Lakewood. Columbine on their way to their 13th victory of the season. And here are those final statements. We said this in the third quarter. You got the sense, and it's not shocking. There will be final parting shots delivered from a bunch of guys who know each other well as you look at the replay, the contact. There it is. Once, twice, 3 times Lionel Richie.
Wheat Ridge penalty is a 1 minute slash. It'll be served by number 5, Kevin McCoy.
So now Columbine will be man up with their 4-goal lead. I doubt they'll be searching for any goal scoring here. Just ride it out, complete the regular season, and then watch a whole lot of lacrosse for the next 2 days until they get to those Sunday seedings and bracket releases. Nick Darrow with it. He's got 3 goals in the game. Just killing clock time. About a half a minute left. Darrow has 3. Nate Surd has 2 goals in the game. Another flag up across the way.
Flag has come down. 2 flags have come down.
James Walker has 3 goals for Wheat Ridge. Josh Yago has 2. Update from downtown Littleton.
Weight bridge penalty number 22.
Mountain Vista and Arapahoe tied up at
1 minute
9-9 with 2.5 minutes left. That's a big one.
Another
You think
penalty
of
to be
the
served by
squads that
Jordan
are
Siemens, number
certainly in the
25 of
conversation
Weight
for who could meet Regis in the championship game. Because, again, we're saying they're the number one team, and a lot of coaches will have to concede that. They have looked sharp. Regis is on fire. They have so much depth under head coach Jim Soren. But Kent Denver, Columbine, Vista, Arapahoe Creek, RC, CA, there's a lot of teams who can certainly make it to Mile High. 10 seconds left. I don't think we'll see a final shot. They will reverse the ball around and let the time click off. Hands, applause for both of these squads. Very fun to watch. That was good entertainment today.
The final score, Columbine 11, Weight Bridge 7.
Columbine started this game with 4 consecutive goals, then Wheat Ridge got to within 1 to make it 4-3 in the second quarter. From there, the Rebels had command of the game, but Wheat Ridge showed us why the Farm has been a great lacrosse program throughout the last decade or so in this state. And we congratulate head coach Darren Denton in his first year and all his boys on a fine season. Henry Salzbacher, another first-year head coach, and his crew will now watch a lot of lax and wait for those playoff seedings to be announced on Sunday afternoon. Tonight, the final score 11-7. Nick Darrow with 3 goals. Nate Surd with 2. And the Rebels finish up 13-2 on the year and have a lot of lacrosse to play in the near future. For Peter Garcia, Phil Mildren, and the crew, I'm Marty Cesario. We thank you so much for joining us for Class 5A Lacrosse, supported by International Aviation Training and Services. I also want to give a shout one last time to the HeadStrong Foundation in supporting the victims and their families affected by cancer. Again, final score 11-7. Columbine with the victory over Wheat Ridge. We say goodnight from Lakewood, Colorado.